I was going to start off this show by saying that it's the 2-year anniversary of us having Lenny Briscoe. And congratulations to him for us keeping him alive these past 2 years. But then the motherfucker ate my scone today. So I'm just now remembering a life 2 years and a week ago when I didn't have a dog.
I feel like you getting Lenny also sort of corresponds to when we started this podcast. So it means we've kind of been around for 2 years.
Right? I think we started around that same time. We started...
It wasn't like one for one, but it was
the
like...
wheels were turning. Yeah. Like, maybe we should have a podcast.
Yeah.
What would we need to do, you know?
And what has Lenny contributed to this podcast?
People seem to like him.
That's
I don't
true.
know why.
They really do. But he's so cute.
Is he?
Yeah.
Or is he...
Well, you're mad because
is he just a scone eater who then tries to suck up to you and is like, why are you mad? There never was a scone. What scone, my dear? There. Give me pets.
It's true.
I see right through that charade.
Anyway, this is the Perhaps It's You podcast.
Oh, yeah.
An unofficial Unsolved Mysteries rewatch podcast, and it's our season 3 finale.
Woo!
Which means we're not talking about Unsolved Mysteries.
No, so just forget what we said, because today is Listener Story Day.
Yep, I'm Samantha.
I'm Liz.
And we're here with a special guest.
Everyone's favorite special guest. It's Mac.
Hi.
Mac refuses to believe that he's everyone's favorite guest.
He also doesn't listen to this podcast or episodes that he's on, and he thinks that I'm lying when I say that people enjoy him being on. So there's a little background for you. Mac's just nodding.
Good to see you.
Mac's just nodding. He's in denial.
It's bad. I mean, I feel like I would have to listen to myself to just be like, what dumb shit did I say that I don't remember?
Oh, yeah, absolutely, because I don't remember.
Yeah, as soon as we hit stop on Audacity.
What happened? It's all a blur.
Immediately.
Well, we're here today to talk about how the Earth is flat.
No, no more.
Oh, right.
Never again.
Okay, that's our Patreon this month, though, so look forward to that.
Yeah, if you're a patron, you can enjoy the raw audio file was 2 hours of us talking about the Flat Earth documentary. I don't know how we did that for 2 hours. My brain...
How long is the documentary?
Less
than 2 hours.
I had that feeling.
This is a tradition because we take an hour-long show and then talk about it for more than an hour. So if you're actually looking to save time in your life, you should just watch Unsolved Mysteries.
Right.
But I feel like most people are listening to us in situations where they can't watch TV. So we're really providing a very valuable recapping service.
We just had a lot of questions about Flat Earth, and none of them got answered, but we did speculate.
No. Okay, I have 2 quick updates.
Okay.
1, Patreon related. Yes, you should give us $1 that perhaps you found on the ground or stole from your mom's purse so that you can listen to us. You can listen to my brain melt as I try to wrap my head around Flat Earth. Okay. A Patreon related update is that if you're a super duper mystery solver or you're interested in becoming a super duper mystery solver,
that means you give us more than $10 a month.
$10 or more a month. And your reward for that, along with all the other rewards, is that quarterly you receive a special swag item.
Yep.
Special gift. And when I had originally conceived of this, I was picturing something very small. Like a sticker.
A bookmark.
Yeah. And then Samantha, for the first one, went above and beyond, blowing everyone's minds by making a cross-stitch of Robert Stack and Robbie Stacky together at last.
I hope everyone received yours. They went out.
Yes.
At least one made it to Canada.
Okay, good. That was
we were concerned about that.
I had no idea how long it would take.
Not very long, I don't think.
You're good.
A week maybe? I don't know.
So when I was conceiving of this, it's good you brought up Canada because that involved my update.
I thought it might.
Going forward, international super duper mystery solvers, we're going to need you to pay $13 a month. I'm so sorry. The shipping was quite a lot.
It was pretty expensive to ship to Canada.
So
don't blame us. Yeah. I mean,
if you're already doing it, I guess you're grandfathered in. But going forward, you'll need to pick the new Patreon tier of international super duper mystery solver because you're going to need to pay a little bit more to cover the shipping. I'm sorry.
It's just a little expensive. We apologize, but
there's really no way around that.
Yeah, there's nothing we can do.
So, yeah. Okay, that's that update. Let us know if you have any questions.
Should we talk briefly about our thoughts around season 3?
Sure. Okay.
I asked in the Facebook group what people's favorite mysteries were, and I honestly, some of the mysteries that came up were ones that I like didn't even remember were in season 3. Like the Nature's Whimsy was was a fan favorite. Folks love the twin segment.
Sure.
About how twins might have secret twin powers.
Yeah. That was this season?
Yeah.
Seems so long ago.
I know.
I was thinking my favorites from this season were probably the psychic artist,
Oh, that was a good one.
Coral Podge, who was meeting people and then drawing their dead relatives somehow. And then the corset maker,
Oh, yeah.
which I don't even remember her name, but the reclusive corset maker who was horrible to everyone and then got in a Rolls Royce accident and didn't leave her house for 20 years. And then the mystery was, who is this woman? Where did she come from?
Oh, yes.
But that is one of my favorites of all time and has really inspired me.
Someone liked Amelia Earhart. We talked about that one.
Okay.
Was certainly not my favorite.
Maybe us talking about it was great. I'm sure we were hilarious. But the actual segment itself was very sexist and terrible.
It was. There was a super haunted house in Nevada.
Was that the one that was like double haunted?
I think so.
Haunted two families? That's one of my favorites too.
Yeah. So those all happened in season 3. I guess season 3 wasn't as bad as I thought.
I thought it was more consistent than season 2. I thought season 2 had some real highs and some real lows.
Right.
And this was a little bit more like...
Maybe what I'm reacting to is that there was fewer lost loves in season 3.
You just needed those lost loves.
I just love the lost loves.
Yeah.
I've really fallen for those, and I really need like one an episode.
Mac, as a non-listener to this podcast, do you have a favorite unsolved mystery?
Well, I was on the haunted house one. That
Oh,
with
yeah.
The
You're
and that
filling
guy
in.
had the biggest mustache of the
Oh, yeah.
of the show. So
You were filling in for Samantha that
Yeah.
week because she's a deadbeat.
That was why I didn't remember the haunted house thing. I was kind of nodding like, oh yeah, that was a good mystery.
Oh, yeah.
That's because I
you
didn't
weren't-
watch that episode
you
because
weren't
I
here.
was in
That was-
California. It all
There
comes-
we go.
But that was the MVM of all MVMs.
It was.
oh yeah, no,
that
that
mustache.
you can't. I mean, unless
It's unbeatable, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a sight to behold for sure.
Okay, I have another update.
Okay.
To celebrate the end of season 3, we're going to give away something I found at the thrift store.
Oh yeah, I remember that we were gonna do this.
Which was a 90s glow-in-the-dark Ouija board, which is in remarkably good condition.
Folks, this is amazing.
Look
and
at-
I kind of just want to take it for myself.
Look at this beauty.
Oh, that's like brand new.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think that's ever been used.
Probably not. Somewhere there's a planchette.
Hopefully it's not haunted.
Or maybe there
But-
not.
Parker Brothers knows
Oh,
the
yeah,
secrets of hell.
Here's the planchette.
Ooh, that looks glow in the dark too.
The audio
I don't
unboxing.
think this was ever used. The box is a little bit beaten up, but the board itself pristine.
Pristine.
So I think what we'll do to celebrate the end of season 2. Wait, let me stop making noises. This
Just
fucking
hit that
Ouija
against
board.
the mic a couple.
Hey, guest! Show some respect. Yeah. I think what we'll do is we'll make a post on Instagram the day that this episode comes out. Comment below who you would use the Ouija board to talk to.
Yes, and like tag 2 friends.
Yeah. And that's how we'll do the giveaway.
I'll put the instructions in the description.
We only have one, so we're only doing it on Instagram. That seems like the best way to do giveaways anyway.
And you have to be following us in order to be eligible to win. So follow us, comment, tag. All the instructions will be there. And
whose ghost do you want to communicate with this 90s glow-in-the-dark Ouija board? Yeah. And then we'll pick the best answer.
we could do a random number generator maybe.
Okay.
We'll figure that part out later. Anyway, that's how you enter the giveaway. This is very
Get
well
a
thought out.
Ouija board. Get a Ouija. It's pretty cool. I would keep it for myself, except that I already have one. So there you go.
Is anyone surprised by that?
No. Mm-mm. Are we ready to lead some listener stories? If these are
Yeah.
anything like previous listener stories, they'll be the scariest stories I ever heard.
Should we listen to Rob's, what he sent us?
Oh, yeah, let's do that. So Rob, over at Our Strange Skies, who is a man of the world, he knows everyone, he knows everything, and he has some paranormal happenings. He sent us one before about seeing a reptilian.
Rob's podcast is way better done than ours, way better researched.
Oh, yeah. We're not
Absolutely.
putting in that kind of time.
So we are going to listen to Rob's story, and I'm very excited about it because his last one was real good.
We have not listened to this yet, nor have we read any of the stories we're going to read.
Hello, Perhaps It's You podcast. It's Rob Christofferson from Our Strange Skies, and I didn't get a story to you the last time that you did this, but I figured since we're here and I have the time, I'll tell you another one. Last time on the season 1 finale, I told you guys about the UFO, the weird-looking cryptid, and Jeff the ghost. This time, I'll tell you the story of the time I thought I saw a gnome come into my bedroom when I was a kid. I was 5 or 6 years old at the time, and it was Christmas Eve. I think it was around like 10 o'clock at night or somewhere around there. I got up to go to the bathroom, and I remember my parents telling me, Rob, go back to bed. It's not time yet. And then I probably muttered some response, just go to the bathroom, or something like that. So as I'm walking by the hallway to go to the bathroom, there was a right by my bedroom is a landing, and a set of stairs brings you down to our front door. They kind of wind to the right a little bit, and I could see that the door was slightly open because the hallway light was it was kind of flooding through the bottom, and I could also see the door was actually closing really slowly. I just assumed that it was our neighbor, she was a really nice lady. Her name was Betty, who would close our door because it was a really old door handle on it. It never locked or anything, but like whenever she'd see it open, she would close it. So I figured that's what it was. Went to the bathroom, came back, got back in bed, and about 5 minutes after I got in bed, I saw this short shadow. It looked like it was about 2.5 feet tall, and like I couldn't see definitive features because it really looked just like a shadow. It didn't look like a definite form, but the weird thing about it is that its head, at least what I presumed to be a head, kind of came to a point. It really looked like a lawn gnome had just walked into my bedroom, and it walked in front of my bed, and I don't remember a thing after that. It could just be, due to age. I was 5 or 6, but it's definitely a memory that sticks out to me, and it's one that I come back and on occasion I ask myself, what the hell was that? So, yeah, that's the gnome story. So, keep up the great work, ladies.
Well, I'm going to have nightmares about gnomes now. Thanks, Rob.
Rob, I think you know what it was, and it was a gnome.
Yeah, it sounds like it was a gnome.
That's our first gnome story that we've gotten.
That's not one that comes up a lot. People don't
No.
see gnomes.
Though, what country do gnomes originate from?
Is it like a Scandinavian
It's
country?
a Scandinavian thing. Because I see a lot more gnome. I'm gonna say I see a lot more gnome-like figures in the Minneapolis area than I'm accustomed to.
Gnomes are a big decor item.
Yeah.
So
That is freaky. I want to say that I heard a gnome story on another podcast, like last podcast on the left or something. Something about little creepy gnomes coming into your bedroom is like scarier to me than almost anything else I can think of.
It's probably just, my point of reference for gnomes is the cartoon David the Gnome that was on Nick Jr.
Sure.
When I would stay home from school and I would be excited to watch TV all day, and it would, 11 o'clock would roll around and fucking David the Gnome would come on.
And you
And just bore
realize
the shit out of me all day long. And
it was a rude awakening as a child to realize that daytime TV was not good.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
they basically gave up between 9 a.m. and 3 p.m. And,
Yeah, you thought
yeah.
like, oh man, I'm going to see all these great shows, and then it's like, no, it's David the Gnome.
But as far as I know, all David did was kind of like walk around and talk to his wife and stuff. It was
Sneak into 5-year-olds' bedrooms.
If he was in
scare
there,
them.
it was almost certainly for a completely boring reason. So don't worry about it, guy. It's fine.
Is David the Gnome an English cartoon? Or?
It felt pretty British.
Yeah, because this is the, like, at least in, like, the 80s, 90s, English cartoons, like, I liked a show called Naughty that was either about an elf or a gnome, and, like, Postman Pat, and even Thomas the Tank. Fucking nothing happens on any of those shows. And then American shows is, like, these robots went into space and exploded the moon with lasers. And then Postman Pat is like, oh, it's very windy. I hope I get to deliver this parcel today. Naughty is definitely a show where, like, fucking nothing. I don't know if he was a gnome or an elf, though. But he drove, like, a little car and had a
Yeah, I
little
would
pointy
have killed
hat.
for a car because David walked everywhere. And the opening made it seem like it was going to be really exciting because he would be like chased by wolves or they were
Sure.
And these are little. These were not like 3 feet tall. These gnomes are like the size of your fist or
okay.
something. They're kind of
Were they, like,
around the
living in a
fourth floor.
tree like a squirrel? Or...
Well, that's
They
an
have a little
elf. I was going to say
village kinda thing.
Keebler, but that's an elf.
Yeah.
Oh. Are Smurfs like gnomes?
I think
mean,
Smurfs are their own thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're
Smurfs.
Smurfs.
Belgian.
Yeah.
Smurfs are from Belgium.
My
Yeah.
mom didn't want me to watch the Smurfs as a kid because she thought it was sexist. 'Cause there's only Smurfette and she has no skills.
That is sexist.
And she was not wrong.
She just didn't want you getting all these
Well, because, like,
lowland Europe
there's-
ideas in your head.
there's a
you know.
Baker Smurf, there's, like, Smurfs who do shit,
Sure.
and then there's Smurfette. What's she do? She's just a girl.
She wasn't even there at the beginning, right?
Fuck
She was-
Smurfs.
I know.
Huh. Well, I hope that was the only gnome you ever saw, Rob,
think
because that
it's-
sounds scary as
It
hell.
sounds scary, but I agree with Mac. What could the gnome
I feel like the
really
gnome
do?
probably didn't have bad intentions, but imagine being a 5-year-old laying in your bed and a little 3-foot tall gnome just comes and stares at you at the foot of your bed?
I hate the idea that you're asleep and you wake up, like, maybe you open up, like, one eye, and then, like, a gnome is, like,
Ugh,
right there.
I'm never gonna sleep
I
again.
don't know. Gnome. That's the least scary of the magical
What would be scary
creatures.
to you, Mac, if something was
Like a murderer.
I was gonna say, not including things that are actually real,
God.
like Bigfoot at the foot of your bed, or like an alien.
So
Okay,
this
which
is a
is
good question.
scarier, a gnome or an alien?
Well, an alien, because
Or a ghost,
maybe
or
it'll take me out of
a
there.
gnome or a ghost?
I'm
A
almost
gnome
more
won't
creeped
do
out by a gnome.
anything. It's just gonna look at you.
I'm,
It'd be
I'm
like,
having a visceral reaction to the idea of a little gnome staring at me.
I do
Even
not,
though I could probably just punt a gnome. Like, I'm sure I could take it.
yeah.
I do not find them cute. Like, clearly some people find, like, a little gnome, like, statue, like, cute. And I like cute things, but I do not see a
Yeah.
gnome and go, like, oh, cute. Like, I go, like, ugh. I can't. I don't know. It's not aesthetically, like, my thing.
I pass on the gnome.
Rob, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry about the gnome. I just want to reassure you, you were in no danger.
There's nothing that gnome
Gnomes,
could do.
other than just putting you right back to sleep by telling you the most boring story about like a leaf falling down. The
Now my question is,
gnome.
is it like always a gnome? Or is it like a lawn gnome that came alive?
Well, he said this was like 3 feet tall.
Would
So
be a-
unless it's a really like a rich person's gnome, they got it from the Sky Mall.
Like when you
catalog.
go to Marshall's at Christmas, they always
Yeah.
have that one big
The
nutcracker.
that's like 5 feet tall.
Yeah,
That
that
no
costs
one
like
buys.
$500.
This is my thing, though. Like, you wouldn't be afraid of a doll because you could just like pop its head off.
No.
But Chucky is fucking freaky.
Actually-
so why couldn't the same concept apply to gnomes?
I find like the idea of like a China doll coming alive much scarier than a gnome.
Than a gnome coming alive.
Like you know, go to
I
the
think
antique store and you see like dolls that are like kind of broken and
Ugh,
like
yeah.
like maybe like one glass eye like kind of looks out the wrong way. Like the idea of like that coming into my bedroom.
I feel like I'm putting them in the same category. Maybe I shouldn't be.
This is interesting.
It is.
Okay, I'm gonna read the next story.
Thanks for that, Rob. All right, we have a whole bunch of. I think we each have 2 or 3 here.
Yeah, I'm gonna read one from Emily. That starts off by saying that she loves the podcast. So good. Okay.
We appreciate the flattery, Emily.
Her family owns a cabin that was built in the 20s, and she says both of my great-grandparents died on the property of natural causes. As long as I can remember, weird things have happened there. Usually stupid shit like objects being misplaced or BS like that. I mean, that's just my regular life, Emily. That's not...
Yeah, that happens to me all the time. Just because I don't remember where I put.
Yeah,
shit.
they're not to be rude, but that's not special. Okay.
You're already insulting our listeners' stories, Emily. I'm sorry.
Sometimes I put things down and I don't remember where they are. Like Mac, how often do I put down a glass of tea and I don't know where it is?
Thrice daily.
Okay. Anyway.
More often than not.
Yeah. But as I got older, it escalated into pictures hung on the wall being flipped upside down,
Oh.
candles being lit by themselves, which is, I don't recall hearing that before. That's very interesting, and creepy black shadows. It's important to note that this place is hella easy to break into. I really appreciate that you're still saying hella. Thank you. Due to it being old and semi-secluded area. There's an overabundance of stupid teenagers, young adults in the area. I'm assuming this means it's like by a college.
Probably.
And
Is someone breaking into their cabin? And
but to light candles? No, they're not. And a very shady satanic temple in the next town over. I need more details on that. What makes it shady?
Can we go there?
Yeah, do they have cool statuary? Let us know. Anyways, last summer, I started seeing full-body apparitions, being touched, hearing voices, and having unusual nightmares involving satanic rituals. That's a lot.
Wow, yeah.
One night, I had one of those dreams, and when I woke up, I was sitting up. There was a shadow figure standing in front of me. It said, "Help me,"
Oh my god.
before disappearing. That was the last straw. I got my ass out of there as fast as I could, and to this day have not gone back.
Smart.
I wouldn't touch that place with a 10-foot pole. Fuck that shit. Thanks for reading.
That is... I don't know that I've ever heard of someone seeing an apparition that talked to them.
Yeah, I think that might
And
be our
said the
first one.
creepiest thing imaginable.
I mean, what do you think the ghost wants?
Maybe it's just a demon.
Or it's a trick?
Yeah.
I think you're right not to go back to this place, Emily. I think you should encourage your family to sell it.
You guys know if there's a satanic temple around here, shady or otherwise?
I think there is. I remember there's like a Twin Cities satanic organization for sure. I don't know if they have their own temple though.
I think it's just like a...
I don't know if there's a brick and mortar. There might
Yeah.
But I just mean, like, is there a temple? Or are we talking, like, at best, a strip mall sort of, you know, like, storefront?
That would kind of be really adorable.
be. If it was in a strip mall.
Like,
It's like
Maybe one should
next
move
to
into
it.
Harmar, our favorite strip mall.
Yeah, where that gem store used to
Yeah.
be. Yeah.
a strip. If you just say strip mall, I always picture this very rundown strip mall that I used to go with my mom because it had a used paperback bookstore in it, but it like had a Navy recruiter like above that, like aquarium cleaning, and was behind a Lover's Lane, the trashy lingerie store.
That is the
So-
most strip mall that any mall has ever stripped.
So that's where I would like to think. And then next to that was the Satanic Temple.
We had a strip mall next door in the house I grew up in, and every storefront, it was just in a straight line. It was a one-story, literally a strip mall, and every store in the strip mall continually turned over, except the one in the corner, which was this wonderful ice cream shop. Because that's where everyone went, obviously.
Yeah.
But yeah, living next to an ice cream store was like every kid's dream come true.
Yeah, that's
and I
pretty cool.
really kind of miss that place.
I miss this used bookstore. We spent a lot of time there. It only had paperbacks. And so it was only like Harlequin romance novels, like trashy horror novels,
I
and
could
like
spend all day in a place like that.
Babysitter's Club books. Yeah. And it was just my mom continuously bringing back her romance novels for credit and getting different romance novels. And
Yes.
it kind of smelled like vinegar a little bit, if anybody
Okay.
knows what I'm talking about.
Yep. Been in a place like that.
Max.
I only ask that because, you know, what stands out to me about that story is that, the casual reference of a satanic temple nearby.
Well, I'm
like
just-
that. I don't know that I don't know.
That seems irrelevant. I agree.
Except that her dreams had satanic
Yeah.
elements also.
Maybe it's a coincidence.
Maybe
maybe the Satanists are busting in, lighting candles, and flipping the pictures over.
Yeah, they're just causing chaos.
They like
just-
upside
they're
down crosses.
pranksters. They're the tricksters of the world, really.
I don't know.
All right, Mac, how about you read us a tale?
Very well.
Spin us a yarn.
All right, this is from Amanda. And Amanda says, "Hi, Liz and Samantha. So last season, I told you 2 ghost stories that happened to me.
Amanda made little comics out of this. Okay.
She
yep.
made some great comics of these experiences.
I have an update on one of them.
Ooh.
Here's the original story for those who have forgotten. I moved into a house about 2 years ago that was owned by 2 elderly people since it was built in the 70s. I don't know for sure, but I think at least one of the elderly couple died in the house. This incident has happened to me 3 times now. I have a pretty big bedroom with a long walk from the door to the window next to my bed. All of the experiences start the same way. I wake up, it's about midnight, and I watch a white shape float from the door to the window. I know it's not sleep paralysis because I suffer from that occasionally, and I definitely can't move during an episode. I can move when I see this white shape floating. After the first time, I got up and left the room. I just pulled the blankets over my head and tried to ignore
yes.
it.
I remember this.
It's freaky, though. Here's the update.
Uh-oh.
Ooh.
The entity that walks from one end of the bedroom to the other has started to stand next to the bed, looking at me.
Oh, you gotta get out of there.
I can clearly see that the entity is an elderly man, balding, with jowls.
Oh my god.
I'll see if I can draw a sketch of him later today. The first time it happened, it really freaked me out, but the second time, I just rolled over and decided to ignore him so I can sleep.
That would not be my reaction.
That's ballsy,
Well-
and I like it.
I have a sleep disorder, so I can't be messing with ghosts trying to interrupt me.
No, as an
Respect.
insomniac, I really appreciate, no, I need my sleep. Get out of here, ghost.
Get the fuck out.
Yeah.
I don't get a bad feeling from him, and I think he's the original owner of the house, but I can't find a picture of him, so I can't be sure. I've also been seeing a black shape in my room at night sometimes. Maybe it's sleep paralysis or something, but one night the black shape rushed at my face and I screamed, freaking my husband out.
What?
Fun times! Thank you, Amanda.
You gotta sell the place.
Okay,
Amanda.
there's the sketch on the back.
Yeah.
I'm afraid to see this.
The back has a sketch.
Oh my god, I don't want to
It
look.
is,
It
it's a
looks like
gentleman.
a Fox News viewer.
Yeah.
I would say that if,
It's interesting your ghost is wearing like a more contemporary shirt.
well,
like a button.
I
He's
think
wearing a
it's
button up
I
over
think
a
it's
sweater.
a sweater over.
Yeah, but I just picture ghosts as like more old timey.
Honestly, Amanda, I
Well,
think
they
you should
built
be
the house
worried
in the
about this guy.
70s.
This looks like someone who murdered someone in Unsolved Mysteries.
He looks a little sad. He looks sort of like what I imagine like Hunter Thompson would have looked like if he wasn't a gonzo journalist.
That's
and,
very generous.
just like went and got a job.
Okay, I think
He's an accountant now.
from your sketch, Amanda, I think that this ghost is just confused. He possibly doesn't know he's passed on, and he's like, "Who is this person in my bedroom?"
Yeah, maybe you should have some sort of, I don't know, seance. Maybe you need to win the Ouija board so you can help him move to the other
Yeah.
side.
I don't know what it would cost to get a psychic to come help move your ghost along.
I feel like there's got to be some out there that do it pro bono.
because I think he's just lost.
We need to address this black shape that rushes at your face, though, because
Yeah,
that
that's
is sinister.
Much more concerning. And you saying you think it's sleep paralysis, I say you've already got this one spirit that you're seeing very clearly. So I'm inclined to not think the other one is sleep paralysis.
I think the only solution is just to burn the house down.
that's your solution to every haunting.
Maybe it's this guy, like doing a little trick with his hand.
That's like a high five.
Well,
He's trying to high five
he's
for
just
face.
sort of like get out of my bed, and he's kind of.
Maybe he's actually protecting you from the black shape. Though.
Maybe. Oh, and then if you send him to the other side, you'll have no. Okay, you need to rethink this, Amanda. Maybe we're not giving the best advice.
It's almost like we have no idea what we're talking about.
Yeah, we should not. Yeah, we should not be giving advice.
We need a
about
dangerous
any
Linda
haunting.
or someone in here.
We need to get dangerous Linda on the show to give Amanda some advice. Cause holy.
I really
Moly, that's not.
appreciate you updating us on this story. I really appreciate the sketch.
It's very good. It's a very good sketch.
I don't know how you become a police sketch artist, but you might want to look into that as a career because that's better than basically any sketch we have seen on Unsolved Mysteries.
100%.
They're all terrible and they don't seem to help find anyone. So
Maybe think about that.
it's a little career suggestion you didn't ask for.
All right, I'm really looking forward to reading this one because the subject line is Zach Bagans Curse My Apartment?
I made
question
sure
marks?
you were the person reading this
So
one.
excited. So this is from Jen. Jen says, "Hello, cool mystery aunts and pups. Thank you for making a podcast that has become one of my favorite things in the entire world. 5 out of 5 Robert Stacks."
Oh, you're welcome.
You thought I was going to skip over the flattery? Think again. I love the Ghost Adventures episode with Kara, and it reminded me that I have a maybe ghost story to share. One afternoon this past summer, I was hanging out with my friend Andrea. Shout out to her for being another mystery solver. Shout out, Andrea.
Ooh, hi, Andrea.
And we were making great life choices as usual and decided to watch Demon House. That's the documentary that Zach Bagans did. He bought that house, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, a little backstory, I think, although I haven't watched it. Zach Bagans, like, bought this haunted house and then did basically the Ghost Adventures thing in it. I think that's what it's like.
need
We
to
were
watch it.
about halfway through mocking it pretty harshly and having a lot of fun at Zach Bagans' expense when all of a
As you do.
as you should, all of a sudden the power went out in my apartment building. It wasn't windy or stormy, so there wasn't any clear reason for it, and it didn't look like anyone else on the block had lost power.
I don't like that.
No, I don't like that either. It kind of freaked us out, but we decided to make the most of the moment and lit some candles and got out the Ouija board to see what was
Oh
up.
no.
Jen, Andrea, you are really not making good life choices. We were drinking and giggling and generally being disrespectful dicks the whole time. Not that Zach and his ugly-ass sunglasses deserve respect, but ghosts probably do. This is some self-reflection is healthy.
I was also gonna say, he's not dead, right?
No, but I think they were communing with... I don't think they were communing with Zach. I think they were communing with ghosts. That's how I interpret the email.
I was like, wait a second. He hasn't crossed.
To my knowledge, Zach Bagans is still
Okay,
alive.
all right, I gotcha.
So, unsurprisingly, we had no luck communicating with anything. After a bit, the power came back on, and a few minutes later, the fire alarm in my building started to go off.
Huh.
She says, "Oh my God, terrifying. It was absolutely loud enough to wake the dead. So we should have kept going with the Ouija. But at that point, we were too unsettled. I honestly can't even remember if we finished watching Demon House after that. Maybe it was just so bad I wiped the second half from my memory. Honestly possible.
Very possible.
I'm not sure what caused all the weirdness. Was it just a random power surge, or was it a ghost in my building who was sick of our shit and wanted to fuck with us? Or did Zach Bagans somehow sense us being rude as hell and send a vengeful demon to haunt my house? We'll never truly know. JK was absolutely not the last one, and he doesn't have that range.
I was gonna say, I don't think that the ghosts respect Zach Bagans because
No,
he's always
he's-
screaming
yeah.
at them and being rude.
I don't know that he would have the power to send a ghost after you. It seems like Jen doesn't think so either.
I don't think that they would care if you make fun of him. They would probably appreciate it.
Jen encourages us to keep cackling forever, which you know we will.
Yeah, I can't help it, really. So,
So
Do you think Jen has a Google Home or an Alexa? Maybe Zach Bagans has a deal with one of those companies.
oh, and if he
hear you making fun of him anyway.
smack, all your lights are out.
Yeah.
Maybe that's gonna happen.
Sure. For the right price, right?
Maybe.
Hey.
I mean, they're always listening, so.
Yeah, they're recording you too.
Something to think about. If unplug next time you're going to make fun of this guy, unplug your Alexa and see if the power goes out again.
Maybe experiment with that, Jen and
Yeah.
Andrea.
I think that's a very actually good plan, Mac.
Maybe, yeah, Zach has it in with Amazon.
Could be a neighbor's Alexa. I mean, if the whole building went out, it could be they just shut down the power to the
whole thing.
So
This is a conspiracy that I could maybe understand.
Yeah.
That, yeah, you're... Maybe for a price, Amazon will monitor for anyone. Maybe there's other celebrities out there that are, the Alexa is listening to see if you disparage them.
try, depending on the maker of your device, try saying, "Oh, I really hated the Marvelous Miss Maisel. That show sucks," and see if your power goes out.
I like this ghost tech support.
Did you
That's right. Did you try turning the power off and on again?
did you see this thing that supposedly sleep number beds might be recording you?
What?
Just what number you're using? Or,
No, like recording you sleep
that's
Like,
to provide better sleep service. Like apparently, if you look at the fine print of something, this is something I saw on Twitter. I don't know.
oh my God.
That it was like you have when you're like signing away your life. One of the things you're agreeing to is recording.
Do you hook the bed to Wi-Fi or something?
I don't know.
That's
That would be a
I
very
bet you do.
strange thing.
It seems like everything's connected to Wi-Fi these days.
I like it. Yeah, that's fun.
I don't know why the thought of like a bed recording you sleep freaks me out so much. I think
No,
it's because
it's
I never
terrible.
imagined that beds could have the power to record.
What's that horror movie? The bed that eats.
Deathbed. Yeah,
It just makes me think of
the
that.
bed that eats.
Does the bed just fold up like Jaws and swallow you?
So
It's kind of arty 70s
we tried to
horror
watch
movie.
it, but the disc had a
Yeah.
crack in it, and we didn't get to see the whole thing. But
This
yeah,
is
you
a
kind
thing
of
kids
sink
will
into the
never
middle,
understand.
and, yeah.
Yeah. I think it was supposed to be like a little bit silly, of like a 70s type horror movie, but it was about a bed that ate people.
Okay.
It was like hippies would like go to bone and then get
Yeah,
eaten
the
by the
bed
bed.
would
So
Horrible.
maybe Zach Bagans' next step is to make a deal with Sleep Number, and every time
Yeah.
you talk shit about him, the bed just
Eats
folds
you?
up.
Crashes. Or it changes to a
Swallows
number that you don't like.
Yeah.
And then it
Yeah,
gives
you're
you a
like,
bad
"Oh, so
night of sleep.
uncomfortable."
Why is this bed so firm all of a sudden? Aren't I at 12? I don't know
Yeah.
what numbers mean what.
Yeah, they seem really expensive, so we'll never know.
Well, apparently they tell on you. So.
Okay, they're also narcs.
Yeah.
Some narc. A Sleep Number narc.
Yeah. I have a very long story from Leanne, so hopefully everyone is comfortable. It says, "Hello, beautiful ladies."
Wow,
Which
keep
is-
the flattery coming.
This is how all emails should start. And Robbie Stacky. "My name is Leanne. Feel free to use it. And I found your podcast a few months ago. I finally caught up this week just in time to share my story before the finale. You guys are hysterical, and I love every second of listening. Never stop cackling. Okay, now that I've shared my love, let's share some soup. When I was 6, my family moved to a beautiful 4-bedroom house in southern New Jersey. My 2 siblings and I all had our own rooms. We had a big backyard, and we were like 15 minutes from the beach. Perfect, right?
Lovely. Was there an ice cream store next door?
Probably not. That was the flaw. The end. No. Spoiler alert, not perfect.
Oh no.
A few weeks after settling in, my younger sister Shannon, who was 3 at the time, started telling my mom about her friend Michael.
Oh no.
Michael
This
was
could not be
around
good.
for a few weeks with Shannon, always seeming to have full conversations with her friend. My mom assumed it was a normal, imaginary friend, but that didn't explain how Shannon knew a lot of things she shouldn't have, including the name of the little girl that lived in the room before we moved in.
I have goosebumps.
Her explanation, Michael told me.
Oh my god.
Finally, my mom asked Shannon who her friend was and where he came from. In true horror movie fashion,
Don't ask these questions.
she replied, "Michael is a police officer. He's dead."
Oh. Oh.
Naturally, my mom flipped the fuck out and called the realtor, demanding to know who owned the house before us and if anyone had died there. The realtor told her that the former owner was named Michael, who was an elderly state trooper, got sick, but did not pass away in the house. Apparently, he was dying, and when brain dead in the house, he was brought to a hospital where he actually clinically died.
Oh, I could see how he maybe could still be there then.
Well, yeah, actually, we've learned from Dangerous Linda that spirits are not always in the place where they die. It's somewhere where they had a strong emotional connection.
Or if, he wasn't dead, but he became brain dead in the house, his soul could still be there thinking that he's still alive.
Oh, yeah. Thanks to this loophole, the realtor wasn't obligated to tell us before we moved in.
Okay.
Haha. As a 3-year-old, Shannon couldn't read or figure any of that information out by herself.
Didn't know the real estate laws of
Yeah.
New Jersey. Huh?
No, like a dumb 3-year-old. According to my mother, Shannon has always been sensitive to spirits. While we were living in the house, she told my mother that many people would talk to her and that the voices wouldn't let her sleep. Which, if you're a parent of a 3-year-old, that's a horrible thing to hear.
That's terrifying.
You want that kid to sleep. Of course, other stuff started to happen. Doors would slam when no one was around, and all the windows were closed. My mom brought door stops, just in case it was somehow the wind, but the doors kept slamming, and she would find the stoppers in the hallway. In one particular instance, my stepfather heard doors slamming on the 2nd floor and started yelling up the stairs, assuming it was my sister and I. My mom then pointed towards the window, and he saw me, my sister, and even my baby brother all playing in the backyard.
Yikes.
And then felt like an ass. No one was in the house. He even ran upstairs to make sure
I have goosebumps. This is
that
scary.
he didn't have extra children he had forgotten about. No, that's funny.
that he brought with him.
Yeah, like, whoops. I forgot about that kid.
Wrong family.
Forgot about that one. Okay. Even though I was completely oblivious to much of this activity, some things did happen to me. Shannon and I did not get along for most of our childhood, as per usual sibling rivalry. After a fight over her touching my Barbie playhouse one day...
Been there, done that.
Yeah, but seriously, who wants to share their Barbie playhouse? I ended up getting locked in my bedroom. But here's the thing. The lock for my bedroom was on the inside. The door wasn't locked, and it had never been jammed before, and all the doorknobs were fairly new, yet I couldn't get out of my room. I'll also point out I was like 10 at the time and totally capable of figuring out a doorknob.
Glad you threw that in there.
Even after my parents and I think that's the dogs being scared. Okay. This ghost story is freaking them out.
It's freaking me out.
Even after my parents and I tried the door from both sides, it wouldn't budge. My mom called the police, one of whom was able to slam into the door and break the door frame so I could get out. Eventually, the doorknob was repaired. The same doorknob never jammed or locked me in again. I feel like that was a gamble, using the same doorknob, but all right.
Okay, well, it was a ghost that locked her in.
Take that up with your family. We believe this to be that Shannon's ghostly friends were getting back at me for not sharing.
Could be.
I hope that was a lesson to you. Share that Barbie house. My mom saged the house a few months after all of this, and most of the activity and door slamming calmed down. When we finally chose to move a few years later, she worried that changing the environment would stir up activity again. On our last day in the house, my mom started noticing small things again, like breezes when there were no windows and no vents. She told my stepfather not to tell Shannon for fear of upsetting her. However, after school, 9-year-old Shannon walked in the door, hadn't even gotten her backpack off when she stopped, looked up the stairs, and whimpered, "Mommy, they're back."
Oh my god.
Luckily, that is the end of the story.
Oh my god.
My mom took us all out of the house and finished up packing while we were in school the following day. I wish I could say I made this all up, but my imagination couldn't write a horror movie as creepy as the one that we lived. LOL.
That's like a horror short story.
Apparently, she has a couple other things, and yeah, you should email those in, Leanna, please.
Yeah, because that was scary as fuck.
That was really, really creepy. I don't even know what to say.
I want to know if Shannon remembers this.
Yeah. What does she remember about Michael?
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like at 3, maybe you don't remember that, but at 9...
They're back.
Yeah, that's fucking scary. That's as scary as the gnome.
Yes. Perhaps scarier.
I mean, I think this is a lesson, though, that if someone is dying in your home, you drag them out in the yard as fast as you can so that you don't have to report it when you sell the house.
Oh, they didn't die in the home.
No,
they died in the middle of the sidewalk.
They died on the street.
I thought you were dragging them out so their ghosts didn't get trapped there, and then
Oh, no.
the real
Well,
estate reason is
who
much
knows?
more reasonable.
It sounds like you are stuck with the
Like,
ghost, whatever you do. But,
They didn't die in the home.
Yeah. No,
they died in the shed.
I got his ass to the alley. His heart was beating.
We're reporting nothing.
No, I didn't murder him, officer.
Yeah.
Obviously, I just want to sell this house without reporting anyone died in it, like a normal person.
Yeah.
Well, I think we all learned something.
We did.
And also, that was very scary.
A lot
Yeah,
of
that
life
was one.
lessons out of that one.
I wonder what Michael was so mad about. He's always slamming the door.
Well, it seems like he was bonded with the one with the sister, and then
Yeah.
was like, "Yeah, but why slam so many doors, Michael?"
Also, a little
It's
creepy.
A little dramatic.
Yeah,
Grown ass
Yeah.
ghost man making friends with a 3-year-old.
I mean, I think he was old.
She could see
He's
him. Sounds like nobody else
grandfatherly,
could.
Okay,
but also again,
seems
creepy.
sinister to me.
Well, you're the ghost.
It's true. He is a ghost. Inherently sinister.
Might be the definition of sinister. Okay, Mac has a story for us.
All
Mac,
right.
Mac.
This is from Kate Shaw of the Strange Animals podcast.
Ooh, I like that sound of that.
It's a podcast for you right there.
There you go. In 1993, my aunt and uncle moved into an old house in Bristol, Tennessee. The house was built in 1904 by a Dr. Pearson. Originally, part of the house was for examinations and part for living quarters.
Nope.
Hard nope on that one.
I'm that octopus moving away in that gift. Absolutely not.
It was a large, beautiful house with lots of fireplaces.
Yeah, for the bodies.
That seems suspect right there.
Well, I mean...
No, not to heat the home.
1904,
No,
yeah, okay.
it was for the bodies.
Mac is too reasonable
From
for
his
this.
from his failed medical experiments.
Literally, as soon as they moved in, weird stuff started happening.
Yeah, no shit.
In 2010, I interviewed my Aunt Cindy about her experiences. I always planned to write an article about it, but I never got around to it. My uncle doesn't like to talk about the house.
You absolutely need to write an article about this, even before I hear the story.
Maybe a whole book.
The day they moved in, after the furniture was all in place, Cindy hung a picture over the mantel in the dining room. A little while later, she heard a crash. The picture had fallen and broken the glass. She assumed she hadn't hung it up very well, got the glass repaired, and hung it back up a few days later. It was fine until the day they moved out, some 3 years later, when it fell again. Cindy didn't connect this with the other weird happenings until the day they moved out, but the next thing that happened was a lot less easy to explain. My aunt was in the kitchen with her miniature dachshund. My uncle wasn't home. Suddenly, she heard a huge crash. At the time, she had a huge antique bookcase in the living room, very formal, made of heavy cherry wood. The noise was so loud that she was certain the bookcase had fallen. She said she thought, "Good God, I'll never get it cleaned up," since the bookcase was full of stuff. But when she walked into the room, it was fine. She walked all the way around the house and never saw one thing out of place.
Oh.
I don't like that.
No.
My uncle had weird experiences too. He didn't tell my aunt about them for a long time. He's a gruff kind of guy who doesn't believe in ghosts. His habit has always been to take his wallet out of his pocket as soon as he gets home from work, and he always puts it in the same place. Then, the next morning, he collects it on his way out of the house. In this house, he would always put his wallet on the fireplace mantel just inside the side door. But sometimes it would be somewhere else the next morning, even though neither he nor my aunt had touched it. Sometimes it would be on a mantel in a different room. Sometimes he'd have to hunt around for it. Now, I'm going to break in, and this is me talking, and say, if it didn't have as much money in it as the night before, there might be less spectral
that was
causes
me.
for that. Yeah,
That was me sending dollar bills to
it's just the
Patreon.
damnedest thing, you know. I put the wallet there.
Must be the
Next
ghost.
day, there's $20 missing, and the wallet's nowhere to be found.
I do like hearing these stories about men not like, I don't believe in ghosts. Now, here's a time I literally saw a ghost and spoke to it.
And gave it my wallet.
Yeah.
Said it was the wallet inspector. I believed him. Cindy also reported occasionally feeling something pushing her feet when she was in bed. She described it as feeling like two hands pushing on the bottom
No,
of her feet.
no, I hate it. I hate it. It's a foot fetish ghost.
No.
On at least one occasion, it pushed her back, too. She thought it was my uncle, then realized he was sound asleep with his back to her.
That might be the worst one yet.
Yeah, that's so bad. This is why you never hang your feet off the end of the bed.
The
Well,
monsters
then you'll have
look at
those
it.
weird dreams
Then
where
the-
you're falling off a cliff.
Oh,
and
yeah.
stuff.
I hate that,
And then
too.
the foot fetish ghost will push in your feet.
Hey, baby.
At first, Cindy didn't tell anybody about how the house being haunted. It didn't tell anyone about the house being haunted. So when her sister Janice came to visit the first time, she didn't know. That night, Janice woke up when it felt like someone was pushing on the bottoms of her feet.
No!
Ghost must have just been delighted when Janice was like, hell yeah.
Look at Rose feet.
More feeties for me.
That's right. But the spookiest thing that happened to Cindy after she lived there for a while will be quoted from the interview. And this is Cindy talking. I was upstairs. We were having company, and I was cleaning the bedroom with the bay window looking over the front of the house. There was a fireplace in all the bedrooms, too. I was facing the fireplace, and behind me was this drop front desk that we've still got. It had a little empty powder box and some tools and stuff on it. I had my back to it, and I was dusting on the mantel, and I heard a noise. So I turned around and I looked, and as soon as I turned around, the powder box just went, just went flying off the desk and rolled onto the hardwood floor.
That was the ghost demanding feet pic.
Yeah,
So, I liked your sound effect too, Mac.
I mean, that's what it says. My aunt and uncle only lived in the house for 3 years. They would have moved out sooner, but couldn't afford to until 1996. When they were packing to move, Cindy kept hearing the noise of something screeching against the windows. She described it as a diamond ring going down glass.
Oh.
She looked all around, expecting to find a tree branch scraping a window, but there were no branches anywhere near close enough to reach.
No, that was the doctor's wife.
Oh, that he burned in the fireplace?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's her giant rings from all the money he's made from his horrible experiments.
Mad about all the feet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, quit murdering your patients and cutting off their feet and keeping the feet.
Cindy said she actually got used to living in a haunted house. On the day they moved out, the very last thing she did was go into the house one last time and say, "Goodbye, house." As she pointed out, they knew that I knew they were there, and I was okay with it. The people who'd rented the house before my aunt and uncle had been planning to buy it, but suddenly changed their mind. Since 1996,
Can't imagine why.
the house has been bought and sold several times.
Yeah, no surprise there.
I mean, I guess if you have to live in a house with a foot fetish ghost, the way to do it would just be to make peace.
You know?
Yeah, you gotta accept your fate.
Like, you can touch my feet if you
horrible
don't
fate.
break any more of my fucking pictures.
Yeah, like that glass isn't free, ghost. You just...
Quit scraping things with your ring.
Yeah.
Just showing off that
Right.
you have diamonds.
Oh, that one was scary.
I don't like that at all.
Also, contact us for an ad swap. We could use some. We could use some more promos
Yeah, please do.
because your podcast sounds awesome. All right, so I have a story from Liz. This is not the Liz who's sitting across from me. My husband and I are certain that the house that we live in has some type of otherworldly spirits. I have to preface this with the fact that we do not feel threatened or harmed at all, and I was raised to believe that there are spirits around us all the time, and sometimes they just want some attention.
And pics of your feet.
I mean, I guess. Whomever is in my house wants a lot of attention. Since moving in, things have fallen down in rooms we are not in, sometimes while we're sleeping. I used to have a cat, and my husband would joke that it was the cat that did it, even when the cat was right next to me. Well, the cat has since passed, R.I.P. Bosco, heart
Aw,
emoji,
Bosco.
and it has continued. Not only has it continued, but now we've witnessed it while it's happening instead of just hearing it from the other room. We have never got hurt, knock on wood, but we've witnessed things literally flying off of our TV and our refrigerator. Once I was leaving the house with my 2 kids in tow, and I heard a big bang behind me. I knew something fell, but I didn't know what, and didn't have time to deal with whatever it was. I get it, 2 kids. When I got home, my husband said that a coffee mug had shattered. I was nowhere near the cupboard, so that had to have flown pretty far. Another time, my husband and I were sitting in the living room, and a remote flew off the soundbar onto the floor. We watched the entire thing.
That's weird.
Another time, I was in the kitchen, and a cereal container fell from my refrigerator and just narrowly missed me. Every single time this happens, I look to my husband, and to this day, even with Bosco gone, he says it was the cat. I mean, maybe it was Bosco's ghost.
Yeah.
One of the scariest times was when we were sound asleep in our room and we woke up to the loudest bang ever. Sounds kind of like our last story. My husband went to check to make sure that no one had broken into the house. He couldn't find anything, so we reluctantly went back to sleep. It wasn't until a few days later that we discovered where the sound had come from. An entire can of tools had fallen over in a part of the basement we rarely go into. That's scary, in a basement. It took me like a month to write this email. After I began writing this, the activity increased in our house. Within a few days of...
Wait, do you think they knew you were writing it?
Maybe. Oh, we've caused a worse haunting.
Oh, no.
Within a few days of each other, we had 2 major incidents happen. The first was a bill organizer randomly falling off of our living room desk.
That's because the ghost was like, don't forget these bills. Pay up.
Doing you a favor. My husband and I were both in the living room sitting down when it occurred. I saw it out of the corner of my eye and it made quite a mess. The second was a bit scarier. My shower organizer randomly, quote, exploded all over the bathroom. Thank God no one was in there when it happened, but it made a mess and was incredibly loud. Mind you, there's nothing wrong with the actual organizer. In fact, we put it back up and it's been there ever since.
That's really weird.
I have never felt scared or threatened until that happened. That night, I basically explained to the spirit why I was concerned, and I threatened as in quotes, the spirit that I would have to sage my house if they don't stop it. Knock on wood, we haven't had another incident since. I've had more things that have happened in the past, but since this was so long, I'll save it for another time. I love the podcast. Thanks for making my workday so much more bearable. Liz from Cleveland. Liz included some photos. Look at the shower organizer disaster.
Oh, wow.
It really did explode. Holy
that's a
buckets. Yeah, it looked like
Okay.
it jumped off the wall.
Liz, I'm getting the sense that your ghost is like a teenager.
Yeah.
I think this is like a drama queen or just, I think you're right. Needs a lot of attention.
Responded to the threat.
Yeah. I think you're dealing with like a teenager ghost.
Certainly, yeah.
Not actually a
mischievous.
problem, just more of like an annoyance.
It's like a poltergeist situation.
Yeah.
It sounds like, like in the movie where the mom has the chair and is like, hey, watch this. And
Yeah.
things fly across the room. That's scary. Also annoying. You
Yeah,
have to,
it's more
you
like-
already had to clean up after 2 kids and a husband.
It's just it's an annoying.
Now you have to clean up after a
Ghost.
fucking ghost too.
Yeah.
I don't blame you for threatening. It sounds like you need to.
You had to lay
threaten
down the
this-
law.
Yeah, lay down the law with this
ghost
fucking
needed
ghost.
some boundaries.
Agreed.
And it seems to have worked. Good for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
Maybe I was thinking that the second one was going to be that like the mirror fogged up and someone had written "Stop snitching," and then it was like
Stop.
snitches get stitches. And don't tell this podcast about this.
Yeah. Snitches get stitches. No, we would know is the teenage ghost.
Yeah.
Okay. We've got one last story for everyone. And I'm not going to say this person's name because this seems to involve some, like, relationship stuff.
Oh, like illegality.
Yeah.
And then they
I was
did
robbing this
drugs.
building.
Okay, so here's the story. This person says, I knew I wanted a cat, and I had a premonition it would be a black cat, but I wanted to keep an open mind. I went to the Humane Society and looked at a few cats. Nobody stole my heart. I went to the area where they have rooms of cats, and there was this kind of scary-looking black cat staring right at me. He was blind in one eye and kept meowing at me. Oh, I should say the title of this email is Spooky Stories Featuring Kittens and Satanic Fuckboys. Back to my story. Okay.
It's already my favorite.
Okay. So this cat with the one blind eye is meowing. I couldn't hear him because the rooms are soundproofed. So I walked in, he wrapped his tail around my leg and then jumped in my lap and I started sobbing. He picked me. My roommate and her daughter came in and she said, Mom, why is she crying? And she said, sometimes a dog or cat picks you and it's really special.
Oh, that's so
Angela
sweet.
just got pecked by this cat. So he came home and he was literally the perfect cat. Around this, and I've been told to leave out this dude's name, so we're just going to call him Fuckboy.
Does the cat have a name? I need to know the cat's name.
I don't know.
This is a very
Yeah.
important
Also
detail I feel
Bosco.
like has been left out.
Yeah, Bosco.
Okay,
I
we'll
guess.
call the cat Bosco.
Okay, around this time, I met this dude,
Fuckboy.
Fuckboy. And within a short time of meeting Fuckboy, he and I were staring at each other like, I feel like I know you. And it was this very strong connection I couldn't explain. I felt like I knew him in a past life or something and was immediately so attached to him. While I started hanging out with him, weird shit was happening in my house. Things moving, lots of black and white orbs spotted in the house.
Oh.
I had a visitation from a blonde apparition in the middle of the night while my eyes were wide open and would wake up in the middle of the night to weird prompts and whatnot. Like, whoa, a lot just happened in that sentence.
And whatnot.
And whatnot. Also, there were orbs. Moving on. Every time this happened, I told Fuckboy about them, and he seemed fascinated and like he believed me. I never had such a crazy series of events happen. So Fuckboy and I keep hanging out, and Fuckboy is a very mysterious, sad boy who is into creepy shit, and all this weird stuff is happening in my house. Oh, I guess the cat's name is Beauregard. Then I get Beauregard. He loves everyone, but seems afraid of Fuckboy. After Fuckboy
That's the red flag to end all
Yeah.
red flags.
leaves my bedroom, Beauregard would not go in the room. I finally make him come in, and he looks super freaked out. Stuff with Fuckboy and me end really dramatically, and it's bad. And it's the weirdest connection I ever had. We could sometimes communicate with each other physically. I'd concentrate and say, Max nodding like, all right. Yeah, well, I mean,
I too have communicated back physically.
I'd concentrate and say, if you can hear me, I need you in my own head. And he would text me, and he would tell me he could feel me thinking about him.
This is
That
bizarre.
scares me. Okay, so after this whole thing ends, I smudge the crap out of the house, and I'm anointing doorposts and ringing bells and shit because my connection to him was so powerful. It felt amazing, and then it quickly turned, and I realized it was definitely not a good thing. It was a dark thing disguised as a good thing. I start getting so freaked out that I can no longer sleep in my bedroom and start sleeping on the couch. Beauregard is by my side through this whole thing. He literally would comfort me by putting his front legs around me like a person. I finally call a medium that a friend recommends, and she says I can smudge all I want. It's not my house. It's my connection with this guy that is causing all this fucked up stuff to happen. And I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever. Which, you're very cavalier about this. Okay. Then my witch friend says to me,
Always got to have a witch friend.
yeah, it's a very valuable asset. We should bring some mediums actually into the house to check it out. They walk into my bedroom.
Hey, if it's dangerous, maybe we should bring some larges. They're bigger.
Oh my God. Get off this podcast. I hate you. This marriage is over. Oh my God. Samantha, please edit that out.
No. Never. That was.
Oh, no. Okay.
This is why you're a fan favorite, Mac. Keep the
undeserved.
dad jokes
Amen.
coming.
It's undeserved, let me say.
Oh.
That's what I have to put up with, people.
It's thought.
So there's chaotic energy in the house. And they say there's an older man who has passed on and he's related to me. And I think to myself, whatever, I don't have any family. That is such bullshit. I call the other medium again. The medium asks me if I have a black cat. And when I say yes, she tells me that the cat is there to protect me. And she also says the older man who is related to me and he's around me. By this time, I think, all right, you're the second person who sees this old guy. I don't have any family that I'm ever close to. Can you describe him? And she says, he's got gray hair and a mustache. He smells like cigarettes and he's blind in one eye.
The cat is blind in one eye.
Dun, dun, dun. Right away, I realized that that's my great-grandfather. He always wore an eye patch. Then I looked at Beauregard and made the connection that he is blind in one eye just like my great-grandfather was.
Oh my God.
I was really fascinated by all of this, but I also realizing that fuckboy was probably messing with some dark spiritual shit and brought that into my house. So I had to do this cord-cutting ritual with him.
It's where you cancel cable. You just do the internet only.
Yes, the modern version is
she had to
used.
change her password.
You get your own Netflix
Yeah.
account.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she didn't want him to use her Hulu anymore, so
yeah.
she had to change her password and such. Okay, the next day the house feels totally clear. Beauregard will go in my bedroom again. I can sleep there. The weird shot stops completely.
P.S. Fuckboy didn't have a reflection. Right.
I assume that's the case.
And
Everyone should rescue black cats, black
Yeah,
dogs,
because
because they
they're
don't get
much-
adopted.
much less likely to get adopted, even black dogs for some reason.
Yeah.
I think it's because they're harder to photograph. That's my theory.
That is, I think that's part of it. Everyone I've talked to from rescues think that's part of it.
But
But
as much as I hate Lenny, what if I hadn't adopted him?
yeah, and the moral of the story is if your pet doesn't like the person you're dating,
Yeah. I mean,
they're out of here.
Yeah.
Always choose the pet.
Yep.
Yes, it's an important lesson. You can always get a new boyfriend. You can't get a new pet.
Exactly.
The end.
Also, they know. They can sense if someone is a shit. Or you don't trust anyone who doesn't like dogs or cats.
Lenny is scratching at the door right now. Okay, let's wrap it up.
All right, well,
That was
thank
a kind of a
you
sadder note, but
so much for these stories.
we would love it if for the end of the next season. It's hard to imagine that day will ever come, but you can, if you want to also share your stories, email them into perhapspodcast@gmail.com.
Yeah, those of you who have said that you have more stories
We want those stories.
and you're holding out on us,
Don't
Write
bogart
in.
your stories. We want those stories.
Yeah.
Send them in. Of course, you can find us on the social medias. Perhaps it's you.
make sure you follow us on Instagram and look for the post about the Ouija board because
Yes,
you could win it.
You're going to want it. So that
except
you can...
that one person who was using it in their story. You already have one. You don't need another one.
What if it's not from the 90s? What if it doesn't glow in the dark?
You could have more than one Ouija board. One is for decoration and one is to use.
And you know what? I take it back because their power went out, and this would have been super handy.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it's glow in the dark. You're right.
Think about
Apologies.
it.
You really need to enter.
Take it back.
Yeah, Matt,
Go
maybe
ahead. Go ahead and
think
enter.
before you talk.
Enter early and often.
Or, no, once. It's not voting in Chicago. Once, please.
And you can find us on Patreon. You can throw us a little bit of extra cash, and you can get access to a bunch of bonus content.
It's a better value every month because there's more and more
Unless you're
episodes.
Canadian, am I right?
Yeah, we're punishing people who don't live in the United States.
Yeah. Well, all the money you save on healthcare, you can donate.
Yeah,
towards the show.
seriously. You should have to pay a lot more. Because so Samantha and I can pay our doctor bills. Anyway, Mac, what a downer.
What didn't we plug?
Rate us.
Oh, yeah. And
5
iTunes
stars.
Apple Podcasts.
We only accept 5-star reviews.
It's enforced by Steve Jobs himself.
I don't think Mac
Tim
knew
Apple.
that. Tim Apple. Mr. Apple.
Tim Apple will stand at the foot of your bed and shake his finger at you.
Maybe he's the gnome.
Maybe.
I don't know how tall he is.
3
He seems
foot,
tall.
maybe?
He seems
Probably
tall.
taller
He's
than 3
kinda-
feet.
Yeah. He
Not
doesn't
sure.
really look like a gnome.
I'm just gonna throw out the wildest bullshit. Oh, maybe he's the gnome. Oh.
That Wozniak guy looks like a gnome. Steve Wozniak. That guy, he could be a gnome.
Maybe he is the gnome.
He might.
Could be. Is. Try is. Are we gonna get sued for libel because I said
Steve
Wa-
Apple. Well, technically you said Steve Apple is the gnome,
Oh, okay. Phew.
so we're fine.
Phew. Good.
Well, Steve Apple passed away. It's Tim Apple.
Allegedly.
Oh, Tim Apple. What? I'm getting my Apple seed.
Look, you have to give us 5 stars.
Yeah, that's the point.
Government.
It's required.
Yeah. So.
Okay.
Thank you, Mac, for being on the show
Yes,
and
thanks,
contributing.
No
Mac.
problem.
The best dad joke of the season.
Oh my god.
Liz is shaking her head. And I think that's it.
I think that's it.
We'll see you in
We're
the
gonna
next
take
season.
a little break.
We are going to take a couple weeks off. Thanks for understanding. We'll be
We
back
just
with
need
more
time
unsolved.
to not be podcasting.
I know. Yeah, we need a little break.
And then we'll be back to talk about season 4. And I have no fucking clue what happens in season 4. That's a mystery to me.
Mm-hmm. We'll be re-energized and ready to go.
Looking forward to it. All right, get out there and solve some mysteries, bitches.
Bye.
Bye.